Well, we have a new week. We're excited to continue playing games. We have Cal State Fullerton, a good basketball team, extremely well coached. They shoot the ball really well also, so we know it's a dangerous team that's coming on the road to compete against us, and we're looking forward to us getting started again. Like I said, we look at it a little bit as a new beginning, a new opportunity to move forward in the preseason, and our guys have been practicing very hard in preparation for that.
Coach, I know it was a tough game last Friday in Miami. They came out shooting the ball really well, and it was always kind of tough to get back in it. But you guys made a big run in the second half. What was kind of your takeaway from that performance down there?
Well, the positive for us was we kept competing, kept fighting until the end. As you mentioned, they shot the ball really well. You give them credit for that. And for us, we have to defend better. We went there with a game plan into that game, and I thought some of the things we didn't execute as well as we wanted to. One was the threes, and that was an emphasis for us during the week of preparation. So that was somewhat disappointing. And then the other was, making sure we contained them in transition. They're a very good team out in the open court. And in both of those things, we didn't play it as well as we had worked on in practice. So we have to get better. We have guys who, understand that for us to make the jump that we need to make, we have to be able to walk out there and execute the game plan at a higher level than we did versus Miami.
Coach, you got within 6 points, and then there was another one. It felt like a constant theme that you guys kept getting closer and closer, and then another one will happen. What needs to happen to stop that from happening?
Well, we have to get better in our preparation with regards to game situations. We're in those situations where we're making runs. How do we sustain them? How do we stop them from going on another run and getting momentum? These are all things we have to work on in practice. And as our guys started to get accustomed to playing with each other, I complimented our team earlier, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago about our chemistry and continuity. And that's part of it. When you have a number of guys who need to learn each other, learn how to play off each other, in those situations, put you in those situations where you have to understand, okay, what do we do? Time and score. We made a run. We cut the 2 possessions. Okay, what's next? And the only way you can learn that is from being in those games and having to go through that. And that's what we did. And we'll be better from these experiences.
Kind of building on that, how valuable is it with a team that's still new, still kind of coming together to have that experience on the road this early in the season against a quality opponent like Miami?
Well, I think that was a great experience for us. I mean, they had a great crowd. There was a celebration night for them with hanging their Final Four banner. And so the crowd was, terrific. They brought good energy. And so for us to go on the road in that type of hostile environment is what we're going to see throughout the year. And so I think it was great to have that, in game number 2 for us. And we're going to grow from it. I mean, the only way, like I said, you can go, get better from those situations is to be in them. And I think we learned a lot about ourselves. We learned what we need to do, as I mentioned before, whether it's game planning, whether it's understanding time and scoring, what we need to do in those situations at a higher level. These are all things that we'll improve on as we move forward.
Talk a little bit about Jaylen Sanders. He's had back-to-back 20-plus point games. What have you liked what you've seen out of him so far?
Well, I've liked the way Jaylen's competed for us. I think he's done a great job of coming in. His motor's been running every time he steps foot on the floor, which means he's giving us max energy every time he steps foot on the court. The thing he's done really well for us has nothing to do with his scoring. He scored the ball, and we brought him in to do that. The thing he's done really well, I think, for us is he's really rebounded the basketball. I think he may be our leading rebounder right now on our team, and for a perimeter player, that's pretty nice because we have some really good bigs inside. And but he's taken it to heart. I challenged him earlier in the season about we need you to help us on the boards to make us a better rebounding team, and he's really done a good job with that. I like to see him continue to do that, and I think that just will make us a much more formidable opponent.
Dill saw a lot of minutes the other night at point guard. He was draining some shots. What did you like about his performance as he continues to kind of learn how to play in this college game?
Well, I think Neils, considering the environment he was in, I think he really stepped up. I thought he gave us a lot, not just, hitting shots, but also with leadership on the floor. Like I said, I have a lot of confidence he's going to be a really good guard in our program for a number of years. I think he showed flashes of that versus the Miami, which is a, really good opponent. And, I think he's going to, continue to grow into his role. I mean, he's a player that you can play him on the ball, but you can play him off the ball because he's a weapon offensively. He's capable of making a shot. He gives you another facilitator and ball handler, even if he's out there with DJ. So there were a lot of things to like about the way he played. And as he continues to get stronger, continue to learn our system, I just see him continuing to improve.
What do you know about Cal State Fullerton coming in tomorrow night?
Well-coached team. I was out west for a number of years, as you can imagine, so I have a lot of respect for their program. They've been to the NCAA tournament probably 2 out of the last 3 or 2 out of the last 4 years. They've played very well. They really shoot the ball well, and a team that's going to be come in very competitive. I mean, they're coming off of a loss just like we are. A few games ago, their first game was against San Diego State, which was in the Final Four as well. So they've already played a high-level competition. So they're coming in here, of course, having already faced a top 20 opponent, just like we've come in and just finished facing a top 20 opponent. So I expect for both teams to come out inspired, both teams come out hungry to get back on a winning path.
It seemed when your team was down big, they started playing with extreme intensity, making stops, getting steals. Do you want them to come out the gate with that kind of intensity, or as it's bigger lead, you want them to try to just fight it off and make a quick comeback?
No, absolutely. We want to start the game off. I'm not a big believer in warming yourselves into games, and that hadn't been a habit here in our program to warm ourselves in the game. I thought, give Miami credit. They knocked us back with hitting threes and the way they played initially to start the game, and we have to learn from that. As I said before, our MO is to come out right away, and we want to hit first and want to keep on hitting the entire 40 minutes. And I thought it took us a little while to kind of get adjusted in that game. And at college, you really can't do that. You have to come out right away, because if the other team comes out and they punch you first as well as they did us, then sometimes it's hard to get back into the game like that. And so I think there's a lesson that we learned from this game and that we'll grow from it. And like I said, a lot of new guys are figuring that out, and it's our job to help them.
Do you have an update on Marcellus Avery and Antoine Jones in terms of a waiver? Have you got a decision back yet?
Well, absolutely. Right now, we're in the waiver process. We're appealing the waiver, for Marcellus, Avery. We're trying to appeal that, and we'll see where that stands. Of course, Antoine is, Antoine will be eligible, second semester, so that'll happen. It's just a process of waiting for him to be, eligible. But in Marcellus's situation, is just, we have to wait to find out if, how we do with the appeal. But as I said before, I look at his situation and just, sympathetic. For me, I see a young man that, quite frankly, I don't see, based on the rules that we have in place, that he should not be, eligible to play right now, given the circumstances that happened at this university that were unfortunate. But through no fault of his, I don't see how he's in this situation other than just maybe an oversight or not looking at it as hard as they can. But the young man's a first-time transfer who was in an extreme, situation at that university. So hopefully they'll take another look at it and have more information that may help them make a decision that, comes in his favor. Because why would we sit this young man out 2 full years almost? He missed most of last season. He'll miss this season. While your clock is ticking in college, to me that's a tough one to swallow.
What's the challenge of playing essentially, 3 games in 5 days? You play on Thursday, then you go up to St. Augustine, you play on Sunday and Monday as well.
And that's the challenge that we haven't done it with this group. So the biggest challenge is we have a lot of inexperience having to make this type of a trip. So but it's going to be good for us. I think if you look at your season and you want to build out situations that reflect everything you're going to face during the season. And, of course, the tournament is going to be that way, whether it's the NCAA tournament, whether it's your conference tournament. You're going to play, back-to-back-to-back games in order to be successful, and or a game, a night off in the game. So I think putting our players in this situation just kind of like a rehearsal for what you're going to see later on in the season, and I think that's good preparation for any program.
A back-to-back, though, this early in the season is kind of uncommon unless you're in one of them holiday tournaments, kind of like this is. But does preseason preparation for stamina and stuff like that really come into play in a situation like that?
No, it does. It's going to test our stamina. It's going to test, really our level of focus, because you're going to be game planning really fast as opposed to, a week between the game or 4 or 5 days between each game. Now you're going to flip games, really quick. So guys are going to have to go from one game to another and really refocus on what we have to do for the next opponent, which could be totally different. You could be playing an all-zone team and then playing an all-man team. And so that preparation for us as a staff as well as our players is hugely important as we move forward in the season, because at the end of the year, you're going to face this, and you need to be somewhat prepared and familiar with how you prepare and, with a short turnaround.
And can it be a good thing that they get back on the court really quick after maybe, you talking about the mistakes the night before, and they get a chance to really get after it quicker?
I do. I think it's a great thing for us to have an opportunity to get back on the floor and make those adjustments right away that need to be, corrected. So I'm a big proponent in getting right back out there. It's tough, when you're sitting on a win or a loss. It's still tough, for a long period of time. You want to get back out there and keep competing. And I know these guys do. And so, yes, I think the opportunity to go back out right away and to make whatever adjustments that are necessary, I think will be beneficial as we move forward as well.
How is CJ progressing this early in the season, coming back from injury?
It's just a process that he's going through right now, but I think he's progressing fine. I don't think he's had really any setbacks, and that's a good thing. He needs to continue to stay the course with his rehab. We have great doctors here, great trainers, and so everybody that he's working with, I think, understand what they need to do to help him continue to move forward. And I think everybody's doing their part. I think our trainer and our doctors are, and I think CJ is as well.
Is there a chance he could come back by conference play, or is there a hope that he can return at some point this season?
Like I said, we have no timetable on his return. I don't want to, put that kind of pressure on him or anyone. But I think he's rehabbing, well. I think everything is moving in a good direction, and we just need to keep him moving in that way. But the young man has had a great mental attitude about his approach. Has been really good, and he's been through this before. So it's not like, unfortunately, he's had a lot of experience with this. I hate to see it for any young person, but he's had experience with handling injuries and rehabbing and returning. And so I think that he's doing a really good job, and I think everyone that's supporting him is doing that same type of job as well.
The team shot 5 from 20 from 3 of those being Neils makes. When the shots aren't falling, do you encourage the guys to try to look for a different look, maybe get inside the paint more, or do you encourage them to just keep letting them fly?
Well, for us, if you have open shots, we want you to take them. I mean, I'm a firm believer in all of my players. That's why they're here, that they're capable of making open shots. So as long as we're taking great shots, you can miss great shots, but it's not a mistake. You just missed a shot. So I'm a big believer in that. But I also believe in balancing out our offense. And regardless of making shots or missing shots, we should balance out our offense. And that means, we have good post players, and we should make sure that they're touching the ball as well as our perimeter guys are. And I think sometime during the Miami game, I don't think we utilized our posts as well. We came out timeouts talking about we want to make sure we get the ball, in their hands in the low post. And in some situations, we didn't do that as well as I thought we could have. And so that's how we get better. And we learn from those situations and we grow. Like I said, I think we'd be better from that experience. You guys all good?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thanks,
All right.
Coach. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you
Good
guys.
luck tomorrow
Thanks
night.
guys for coming out.